All right, everybody, welcome back, and let's talk about hiring your children for your family businesses. There are a lot of personal advantages, there are a lot of tax advantages to hiring your children into your business, but I want to be clear, this video is not about cheating the system and pretending to have hired your kids to work for your business. This video is about actually hiring your kids to work for your business. So what I'm going to do here is take you through all of these different advantages that you're going to find, and then at the end we're going to talk about some regulations that you'll need to make sure you're following. So first, let's dive into the tax and the legal advantages. The first and foremost, I think the one that everybody already knows about, is the fact that you don't pay payroll taxes. So that's going to be your Medicare and your Social Security taxes. You don't have to pay those if it's a child in your family that you've hired into your business and the business is fully owned by the parents or guardians of the child. And one of the ways you can look at this is, let's say your kids want to earn some money for a summer camp. Well, you can put them to work in the backyard or on grandma's house, and you can pay them for that work out of cash that you've already paid taxes on, or you can put them to work in your business as an official employee, and then you don't have to pay the taxes on that money before it gets paid to them. The next benefit, which is also tax related, is you're not going to have to pay unemployment taxes, again, if it's your child and the business is fully owned by the parents or guardians. Now, the income tax works a little differently, but for most of you, I think you're going to find that you still end up paying no income taxes. And the way this works is you don't pay any income taxes on money that you make under $14,600. That's the standard deduction as of 2024, $14,600. So as long as they don't make more than that much money per year working for you, they won't pay any income taxes on that money either. So basically at this point, with no payroll taxes, no unemployment taxes, and no income taxes, this money, all the money that your children are getting paid working in your business, is 100% tax-free. And as a little bonus, it's still deductible from your business for its taxes. Just like any money that you pay any employee or subcontractor is going to be deductible from your business taxes, so is the money that you pay your children. So your business is saving on taxes, and your children are saving on taxes, and they're able to earn the money for the things that they need to earn in a very legitimate way, getting work experience with you, and without you paying yourself, paying all the taxes on it, and then paying them after tax. Now, I also want to tell you about one really big legal advantage that I think is a really amazing one, which is you can't contribute to a Roth or a traditional IRA unless you have earned income. So your child, if they're not working for your business, they can't have a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. You can't get them started early on that at like 10 years old if they don't have any earned income. If they work for your business, they now have earned income, and you can contribute up to $7,000 a year into a Roth IRA for your kid at whatever age they're legal to work for your business. And if y'all don't know much about Roth IRAs are the ones where you do not get a tax advantage on the money that you contribute. So when I contribute to my Roth IRA, which I contribute to every week right now, when I contribute to mine, I'm paying taxes on the money that I've contributed. But when I go to pull the money out, since I've already paid taxes on the initial investment amount, I don't have to pay taxes on that again. And then all of the money that my money makes while it's sitting there for years and years with a Roth IRA, that is also tax-free money. So a Roth IRA is much more highly taxed advantage. It's just that the advantage is delayed. However, with your children, they're already not having to pay any taxes on this money, so they get the tax advantage of no taxes on the money they make today, plus they get to put that money into a Roth IRA, let it compound for the rest of their life. They will have millions when they retire from this money that you invest, if you were to invest the maximum amount. And they can't do that if they're not working for your family business. So this is a huge advantage, up to $7,000 a year into a Roth IRA. They're not paying taxes on it, you're not paying taxes on it, and they don't have to pay any taxes on the interest and the money that it makes as it compounds year after year for the rest of their life. But let's not also forget there's a lot of personal advantages too. Just as a parent to your child, you get to teach them the value of hard work. They actually get to learn what the true value is if you're paying them fairly, which you should be and in fact are required to by law, to pay them fairly. So if you're paying them fairly for the work they're doing, they actually learn the true value of their hard work. And they also learn actual life skills, which is the actual work you're giving them. If they're fixing a toilet, they've now learned that life skill of how to fix a toilet, which means they don't need to hire somebody to do that for them later on when they're a 35-year-old father of 4. And at the same time, as long as they're getting a paycheck, you can teach them budgeting skills. In fact, part of the budgeting can be budgeting to put the money into the Roth IRA to compound for the next 50 years so that they can be a millionaire when they retire. But you can also help them budget to, like I said, save up for those summer camps, budget even a little bit for entertainment, budget for new clothes, budget for all the things they want. You get to teach your kids how to manage their real, actual earned money. And the truth is, if your kids are actually earning that paycheck, they're going to be making money that otherwise you may not have had the opportunity to give them because you were busy earning money for your paycheck to pay your bills and support your family. So if your children actually earn some of that money, maybe there's a trip to DC over the summertime that their school is hosting, but it's going to cost them $6,000. And maybe you can't afford that $6,000, but maybe you can afford $2,000, and maybe they can spend the school year working hard enough to earn that other $4,000, and you and they can afford them with opportunities that they otherwise wouldn't have had while teaching all of these valuable life lessons. And then finally, succession planning. We all have to think about succession. There's going to come a day when I don't want to run this business anymore and I do want to pass it down to my children. So the earlier I get them started, the more ingrained this business is and the more intimately they understand this business inside and out, the sooner they can step into my shoes and take over the business for themselves, and the sooner I get to retire. Now finally, moving on to rules and regulations, one thing we really need to be careful of is every state is going to be different, but family owned is a very important part of this. The business has to be fully and wholly owned by parents or guardians of the child. Grandma is not a guardian, Aunt Glinda is not a guardian. Parents or guardians, meaning legal guardians who are raising this child, have to be 100% ownership of this business. So if you have a partnership with your best friend, or if you have a partnership with grandpa, that's not the same thing as a family-owned business. Now, do double check this, right? Go talk to ChatGPT, talk to a lawyer even if you need to. Look up all the laws and regulations, and you may find that it is legal in whatever fashion in your state if, say, grandpa owns part of the business. But I'm just letting you know right off the bat, generally, when we say family-owned, all of these rules and regulations are applying to a business that is fully and 100% family-owned by the kids' guardians. Number 2, you do have to pay a minimum of minimum wage. The federal minimum wage, I think, is $7.25 an hour, but you're also going to have a state minimum wage that you need to abide by. For all I know, you might even have a county or a city minimum wage. Those do exist. So make sure you're paying minimum wage, and also make sure that you're paying what the industry would consider to be a fair wage for that job. So minimum wage here in Arizona is $14.25 an hour, I think. So if the job was normally a $30 an hour job, I'm not going to hire my kid for $14.25. I'm going to have to hire my kid for something in between those two based on the actual value that they provide to the business. And you're also going to find a lot of regulations surrounding what hours they can work, both federally and at the state level. There's going to be different regulations. They're going to be able to work X number of hours during the school year when school is in session on weekdays, different hours on weekends with a total cap for the week. And with your state, there's also going to be usually higher requirements per state for how many hours per day or per week or per month or whatever time frame that your child is allowed to work when school is or is not in session. And then another thing we want to look out for is making sure they're not doing any hazardous work. And this doesn't just mean hazardous in your opinion. This means hazardous in a legal opinion. So hazardous work is going to be elevated surfaces, like standing on top of this table working on the ceiling would be hazardous because they could fall to the floor. You can't have them on a ladder or any other elevated surface. You obviously can't have them operating heavy machinery or equipment, and you probably shouldn't have them operating any saws or anything like that. So really dive into what's considered hazardous. Hazardous chemicals are probably going to apply to this. And the reason I keep saying probably is I'm not offering you legal advice. So I want to be really clear on that. None of this is actual legal advice. This is just my understanding based on the research I was able to do that I'm trying to pass on to you. So you do need to double check all of this. It is your responsibility to make sure you're doing these things legally, but you want to make sure your child is not doing anything that a court would consider to be hazardous work. And finally, one last thing that I'm going to repeat again is that your state is going to have its own regulations on top of the federal regulations, and you're going to need to check and just make sure that your county, your city, or whatever other municipality you're a part of also doesn't have any regulations that are going to prevent you from being able to do this legally. And now I'm just going to read off this Roth IRA example because I really want to drive this home, okay? At $14.35 an hour, for 15 hours a week, that's going to be a total paycheck of $215.25 per week. That comes out to $11,199 per year, income tax free, because it falls under the $14,600. So that's income tax free, $11,199 per year. Now, if you put $134.62 per week into a Roth IRA for that child, that's going to cap you out at that $7,000 per year. So from the age of 9 to 18, if you hire your 9-year-old to just help you sweeping, cleaning, tool organizing, all the things that they actually are capable of doing, and I think they actually are capable of doing it. You know, my son was changing a fill valve on a toilet when he was 7 years old. So from the age of 9 to 18, $63,000 in total value that gets put into that Roth IRA. That's just the contributions you've made. With the interest that it's earned over that amount of time, if we're talking about 7% interest, which is very modest over the long course, 7 to 10 is typically how the stock market performs over decades. So 7% interest earned over that time, by the time they're 18, that 63 will be about $83,000 in total value. They can withdraw all of that after the age of 18. They can withdraw any of that they want penalty-free up to that $63,000 number, because that's all money that they've hypothetically already paid taxes on, except they didn't have to pay any taxes on it because they were a minor working for a family business. So they didn't pay any taxes. That's all available to them. So I want you to think about, let's say they get married at 23 years old and they want to buy a new home. They have that $63,000 sitting there that they can pull out penalty-free. I'd recommend that they don't, of course, but I mean, if you're starting a family, maybe starting that family and getting that home purchased is going to be more valuable to you in your 20s than keeping that money in a retirement account for when you're 60. But here's the kicker. When they turn 59 and a half, that is going to be, again, at a modest return of 7% compounded annually over the course of their entire life, starting when they're 9 years old and finally withdrawing it at 59 and a half years old, $1.6 million. Now, of course, that $1.6 million is not going to be as valuable in 50 years as that $1.6 million would be today. But this is all money they've earned just as a minor working for a family business. They'll still be contributing to their Roth IRA, their traditional IRAs, and other pension plans over the course of their life, not to mention Social Security. But you've given them an additional $1.6 million tax-free when it's time for them to retire. And I really think you can't beat that, because compound interest is king. It just is. You know, somebody I like to listen to is Scott Galloway. We don't agree on everything politically, but he's a very intelligent man when it comes to wealth and money. And Scott Galloway will tell you the easiest way to get rich is just the slow, boring way. Just invest as much of your money as you can into the S&P 500 and let it sit there and compound annually for the rest of your life, and you absolutely will retire a millionaire. So if you guys have any questions, I want you to email me at bulletproofhandymanbusiness@gmail.com, or you can just comment on this video and I'll reply to your comments on this video as well. Otherwise, I love you guys. I hope you're out there killing it, and I'll see y'all on the next one.